If Washington's the problem, why trust a congressman to fix it? Among them, they've spent 63 years in Congress, leaving us with debt, earmarks, and bailouts. Congressmen get $174,000 a year, and you get the bill. We need a solution.
That's the reason I've called for a part-time Congress. Cut their pay in half, cut their time in Washington in half, cut their staff in half, send them home, let them get a job like everybody else back home has. I'm Rick Perry, and I approve this message.
I've always thought that Congress should be part-time. That
Texas has a part-time legislature.
Right. I always think that the legislature should be part. The only people that should be full-time, or the only person who should be full-time is the president. And maybe the vice president. But otherwise, I think everybody else in government should be part-time, including the judiciary, including the SCOTUS. And they're kind of part-time anyway, right? Because they're only in session half the year.
Yeah,
so I mean, what I never understood about the legislature is why it is okay. So let's say you start a country and you have a constitution, you have these laws that you start with. Why, once those laws are in, why do you possibly need to have a body that even creates any more laws? I mean, I think you can say, okay, yeah, this law doesn't make any sense anymore, or this particular law needs to be changed because we thought it was going to work, but it doesn't work on a practical level, so we should get together and try to fix that one law. But on a day-to-day basis, it seems like the federal legislature comes up with, they feel the need to come up with some kind of bill every day, right?
Yeah, to justify their existence.
Right.
I think you might be right.
And I feel
but then
if you're talking about
a part-time legislation, then that takes care of that, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So now it just becomes basically your code, your all the whatever you call all of the laws of the land just grows and grows just because it needs to, because that's what the legislature has to do something instead of.
Well, see, why can't the legislature pare it back? Why can't they take it down? We can send them up to take out laws just as fast as we can send them up there to create law.
But
I think.
Why can't they just say, okay, you know what, we're only going to get together if we feel like we need to, as opposed to, well, this is when we're in session and then this is when we're not in session, and so forth, instead of just saying, hey, you know what, we have this one law that seems to be an issue, why don't we get together and let's fix that one? Or there seems to be an issue here that we need to have some kind of regulation, so let's get together to figure that thing out, instead of
how do you do that? How do you do that? What triggers them to come together and do that?
It could be the same. It could be the same way that we decide how to do amendments. Like constitutional amendments, they don't.
The amendment process is really laborious. I can't imagine that you're going to try and do that for every.
No, my point is, if we didn't have sessions for Congress, if Congress was so part-time that they only got together when they felt that there was some law that they needed to do, they need to get together to create something, then it doesn't have to be the amendment process. They just
what triggers them all? If somebody decides that they need to federalize some bridge that nobody uses but the post office or whatever, how do you get the entire Congress together from wherever they are, scattered to the winds, to come and vote on something like that?
Well, there you go. That's my point. So
who's to say that that's not supposed to happen? I don't know that that's good legislation, that's bad legislation, but at least it would be discussed. How do you get them together for something that just seems so trivial?
That's the point. It's trivial. They shouldn't get together for that. That's my
Well,
point.
then how is it going to happen? How is it going to work? The post office just has to decide, or they got to buy it out of their, their fund. I mean, how does it work?
Why does the legislature have to get together for the post office to decide something like that? Shouldn't there be?
Because they are required by the Constitution to do roads and to do post offices. It's in the Constitution, so that's required under Article 1 of the Constitution.
Okay, but I mean, if they know, okay, so you know what, there needs to be federal roads, right? Federal highways. If they know that needs to happen constitutionally, then they should, as a body, at that point, decide, okay, this is stuff that
they're not a body. They are all over in their separate states. It's not like they're just on call in Congress waiting to do this.
If they know that that's part of the Constitution and they have to get together to figure that out, then they can they could call it a session. They can say, okay, for 1 week we need to knock out the things that we are constitutionally bound to do.
Well, then exactly, and all I'm asking is that they do that. I don't care if the session is 1 month out of 2 years. Great, whatever it might be. I just think that it needs to be a set time of this is when it's going to happen, and everybody comes together and does it at that point. And that's all I'm asking. I'm not saying that we should have. I'm not advocating a full-time Congress. I'm just saying we need to have a Congress. I mean, by the Constitution, it's supposed to be there. We got to have their phone numbers. They got to be on call for declaring war anyway. Let's have them come together and have a little powwow and do what it is they're supposed to do.